Right, we're back after the weekend. So obviously the roof's on, we're watertight as far as that's concerned. Doors and windows are going to go in. Maybe get a chance to get the window in for you today. There's just a little issue when it sills. We sent back to get another sill, so that's fine. Possibly get a window in. But what we're going to do, we're going to get the roof, the ceiling boarded. So what we did, we talked about last week that we were going to have spotlights. They're 700 off the back wall, 700 off the front wall, and 700 off the side wall. So that makes them approximately there. And I told you about the fact we were having these new low profile, well, they're new to us, low profile lights, so that will go in there like that, and that's all good. But we're also going to put in an LED strip as well, like a halo light. So what we just had a quick measure now, we're going to bring that 500 around the perimeter, so that'll come in 500 there, 500 there, and that'll go around the full perimeter of the internal of this room. Right, now the LED strips that we're going to use, they are the flush mounted plaster in type. So basically that's what you've got there. You've got a little diffuser that will go up into the ceiling. There'll be plasterboard there, and then when it's skimmed, the plasterer will skim it up to that lip there. So basically you'll just have that recess left in the ceiling. You'll put your LED in, get your diffuser on, and you're good to go. Now the thing with these is, you've got to remember, right, it's a timber frame building. Now timber moves, yeah? So if that's going to go like that there, we'll have a mitre. Let's say 500 comes off the back of that wall, we'll have a mitre there. Let's just have a measure and let's actually see where 500 comes. Right, that's probably not a good side to show you because it falls. Right, that's a better one there. So there's 500 off that wall, and there's 500 off that wall. So the LED strip will go like that, okay? So if I just put Sharpie on my lip there.
Yeah, you're on.
Is it off?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so the LED strip will go like that. It will go like that there, yeah? And then it will return that way there. So we're going to have the mitre there, and then we've got nothing really to fix to there. We've got something to fix to there, obviously, but nothing down there as well. So what we're trying to avoid is any cracks in the ceiling. So what we're going to do, we're going to use some 11mm OSB, which is over there. We've got a couple of sheets of that. So we're going to overboard the ceiling first with OSB. Right, so what we're going to do is, that's our ceiling, yeah, right. There are joists like that, yeah. We've come in 700, 700, so we've got spot there, spot there, spot there. So when we put this OSB on, we're going to put a full sheet of OSB like that. That'll be a full sheet there going on there like that. And we're going to cut out a decent size hole where the spotlight goes. Because of course when we drill through for our spotlight, we don't want it impeding on anything, which obviously the OSB there will cause us an issue slightly. So we will just cut out a full size hole like that for it there. But the rest of it will be OSB'd. So the OSB will be fixed to the rafters with 63mm ring cut nails. So if you imagine it then, the full roof has got a full layer of OSB on. It's only 11mm, so you're not losing much head height. And you've got good fixing for everything, because this loose mitre here, we can get some screws in there and get a lovely little mitre joint on that LED track there. Same over there. And we can fix at any point then. So, I mean, it's 13 quid a sheet. So to me, it's a bit of a no-brainer really, especially if you're doing commercial. You don't want customer ringing you back in a few months' time saying my ceiling's got loads of cracks in it, whereas this will tie it all together. So what we're going to do first, we're going to put on this vapour barrier. Now, again, this is in the build pack. Everything you've seen us use, apart from specialist stuff like LED lighting and that, is in the build pack. This is just like a plastic membrane. Now, the idea behind this, it stops any vapour leaving the room and into the construction of the walls. Now, the guy who did the report stated that this was pretty redundant, apart from the fact it made the building more airtight. So the decision's yours. If you want to use it, because you are going to like put holes in it with screws, and when you cut for your lights, aren't you anyway? So whether or not it, I mean, I think it's good practice to use it, but we'll see. But the report did say it's pretty irrelevant. So what we'll do, we'll cover the full building in this first. We'll tuck these cables up there. They'll then be sat behind the plastic sheet, and then we'll OSB it, and then we'll show you how we're going to put a ceiling tracks on for our LED halo lighting. The build pack shows this from Screwfix, because Toolstation don't sell it. but this particular one is from Selco's, but I appreciate you've got to have a trade card, or you're supposed to have a trade card to go to Selco's. So I've cut a piece off there, longer than the room. It's a bit of a pain to do. A staple gun is ideal. You can use your twist nails if you want. But like I said, it can be a bit of a pain. It doesn't have to be dead tight as long as it's up in a decent kind of form anyway. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to hang it down so it's a few inches down from the back wall. Like I said, it can be a bit of a pain to do. Probably better if you've emptied your room out. Is it falling down already, David? Right. Maybe get a couple of staples in each one. Once you get it started, you're away really. Not a problem. Let's try and get rid of some of this slack in it. And what you want to do is let your walls overhang. What you want to do is let your ceiling overhang your walls then. You want to come in, David? Like I say, you are going to penetrate it when you cut for your lights anyway, so whether or not that report was right in saying it was pretty much redundant, you'd kind of think it was, to be fair. But give you a little peace of mind, won't it? And like I say, get that up and then we'll OSB it, which will hold it up anyway. Right, so I mean, like I say, it doesn't need to be dead flat. It doesn't matter, does it? Because you're gonna trap it anyway, aren't you? Once you put your boards up, so that'll do for now. Make sure that my cables aren't hanging over my timbers, over my roof timbers there, which they're not. They're all in a good position out for when I put my OSB up. So we're going to get an OSB sheet up now, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark where these timbers are, because once this OSB's up, I won't know where they are. And we'll also want an indication for when we screw our plaster boards where they are, because it's all right just screwing into OSB, but realistically what we want to be doing is screwing into rafters as well. Don't have to mark them, because you know that in between the shoe legs there is a rafter, and obviously you've got one at the end, so we're good to go. Now, what we're going to do with this is we're going to measure it. 2.4 falls on a rafter there, so I think these might be 8-foot sheets, but we'll go have a look and see if they're 2.4 or 8 foot. It hasn't been cut to length, has it, David? No. So these are just slightly under 2.4, so that's fine. So that can go up straight as it is. Davy's just cut a couple of rips off, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Right, what happened is I ordered French doors, and I ordered them with add-ons, which is basically just a piece of metal down each side so that you can hide it with the reveals, and your door opens wider. And when I made the structural opening, I actually forgot to put the add-on on. So what we've had to do, if he flips around now, he'll see that we've had to put the build the cheeks out a little bit because I forgot to cut them out. But it happens. Right, so what I'm going to do, that's going to go up like that. So I know my light is 7x7. Yeah, I'll alter that, don't you worry, David. So I know my first light is there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut out a section like that. So I've got plenty on my light to sit on. If David can just put his finger on there and all that there. And I'm going to mark where my other light's going. And I know that that light is there as well. So again, I'm going to cut out a decent section like that. So when we cut our circle there, I know that my clips on my light will just sit on the plasterboard at the back rather than catching on this, which can often cause you a problem. So you can use whatever you want to cut them out. It doesn't have to be neat, does it? I'm just using circular saw there. Right, so we've got two holes for his lights. We're going to fix them up with 63mm ring cut nails, which Davy's already preloaded. And I can see where my rafters are there. I know my cables are good. So we should be good on this. Are we good, David? That's fine. And what I'm going to do, so that I have no risk of fixing, you need to wear protective eyeglasses and ear defenders and gloves. What I'm going to do, so I have no risk of fixing through and catching a nail, is just marking up where my dead centres are of my rafters, because of course I've got a cable there, but I've cut that out so it's not going to actually catch on the cable, is it? We're all good. So there, I know exactly where I need to be fixing now. You don't have to nail it if you've got a screw gun. And screw it. Right, so that's it basically. So when my light goes up there, I know I'm good, I can get my light out. Same there, I can get my light out, and then we're going to fully OSB the rest of this roof. And you can see now, let's draw our 500s again. So that there will be the mitre on the LED track. So you can see there, look, when I screw that up and I've cut my mitre on there, I can get that one on there, and that will work out lovely. And that gap there is where the plasterboard will sit. But what we're going to do now is, once we've OSB'd it, we'll strike a line down at 500 and we'll put plasterboard round in a ring. And then I'll show you this anyway, and then we're going to put the internal bit of plasterboard, and then we'll screw that track up to the plasterboard. Right, so we've got as LED downlighters. Yeah, we're going to put in an LED track as well. Now I need to get a cable to feed this. Now I know from experience that speaker cable there is enough for the low voltage that runs from the transformer, which we're going to put behind the light switch that was going there. Now, a guy who comments, and Cablesmith, thanks for this, he says you can get an LED driver that sits on the DIN bar. Now, I've been to Merchants this morning, and it says you can't get one that's small enough for a 24 volt. Now, you might correct me on there, because he looked at me like I was talking out of my ass anyway. But he says you can get 12 volt that sits on your bar, but not a 24 volt, so we're going to still put it behind there. Anyway, right, there, that line there, and that line there will be the mitre of the LED strip. So what I've done, I've cut out a hole in that ceiling there. I've drilled through that rafter there. You can see my cable, and I've run two, just as a precaution. And that will come down to my transformer behind my light switch. So we will show you this as it progresses, but the LED strip will have a chunk cut out the back, and when we join them, I'll then push the excess up into that hole, and when the diffuser goes on, it's all concealed. Now, this LED halo light is less than 10 metres, and we're putting in a cob LED light, which is continuous light, and I know I can get a 10 metre full strip, and I worked out it's about 6.5 metres or something like this once it's done. But if you have got a bigger area, then what you can do is put two cables in. You can send one LED that way and send one LED that way, and then when you get over to the joint, put another hole, and you can push the excess up into the ceiling, and it looks like one continuous light then. So that's something you can do there, something you have to bear in mind, because what you need to do is measure it out and actually see what size LED you can actually get and what size driver it needs. Like I say, we've done some that have been a lot bigger than 10 metres, so we've had to run two drivers and two LEDs going opposite directions. So that's it, that's concealed in there. That's in the zone as well, yeah, because the light switch will there, that'll be in the zone. And we'll just have to be cautious when we do plasterboard that we remember that's there, because we don't damage it. And that's one of the other reasons why I pull two cables as well, just to try and prevent any of that. Right, Davey's cut the last little bits of these. These should now go up, and again, I need to be watching where I'm nailing, because I know that I've now put that speaker cable through there, which is going to carry that LED driver, so I don't want to damage that. And I remember that's there throughout the installation of the plasterboard now. Is that last bit there, David? So that should just go up there nicely. Not that way, obviously, which it does. See, my cables are free there. I've not caught them on anything. And that'll do me there. So that's my OSB in, and now you can see now I can fix absolutely anywhere I want, and I've got a good solid fixture for this plaster in LED strip because we don't want any cracks in the future. So what we'll do now, we're going to mark out where the LED light's going exactly, and then we're going to get a plasterboard, and I'm showing you how we're going to do that as well. Right, so we're going to come in 500 by 500. Now, if you want to be super critical about your measurement, don't forget that your plasterboard will bring you off another 12.5 mil. So I've marked that now. If you watched the other one the other day, you'll realise that our string line has got no chalk in it, so I'm having to mark it out like this. And if your building's not completely square, I won't worry too much about it, because you can also alter the angle when you cut the LED track. And it will look square even if it isn't square. Right, so that's my 500 off that wall there. See that line, can't you, here? I'm now going to come 500 off the other wall as well. Like I say, if you want to deduct the thickness of your plasterboard, or if you're not that bothered, then it won't matter either, will it? So stuff like this isn't in the build pack simply because this is an additional extra that I have persuaded the customer to have, so that I can show you, the people at home that want to build your own, exactly how to do these two different options. Yeah. I need to get this quite straight because these will be our plasterboards. So that's 500, 500 that way. I'm going to do it all the way around so I've got a perimeter. And then what we're going to do, we're going to put 500 rips of plasterboard all the way around the room to create the outside of the edge. And then that will sit on there, and then we'll create the inside, but I'll show you that as well. Right, so we know we're coming off 500. So exactly the same as when you see me cut the floorboards now. I'm just going to lock my finger there at 500, look. Yeah, and I'm just going to pencil that. No, I'm not. What it is I'm catching the rafters there, so I'm going to pull that off like that. And there, I'm missing them all now, aren't I? So we'll go back to where we were. Locked my finger at 500. Scraped it down like that. Hit that broom. Okay, so that's your line now. You could have already done that with your blade if you've got a bit more skill. But if you haven't, there we go. What we're going to do, look, just get the blade out. And don't know how close Davey can get to that. Can you see, Davey? I'm just going to break the paper. Should have put my glasses on for this. And pull it down like that. See there, I've gone a little bit wide. I bet we haven't got a rasp, have we, Davey? Oh, really? Right. I made a bit of a balls out of that, really, but that's what you want to do there. Give that a little slap on back, if you can just film over there. So I've got it against my leg. Just give it a little, see it's gone, look already, yeah? Yeah. I'm just going to hold that like that. Put my knife down there. Flip over. Get the other side. And there is my 500 piece of plasterboard. That is going to go up on the ceiling. Now, what I probably should have done is cut it at 495 and then manoeuvred it forwards, but we're not being that accurate, or we don't actually have a need to be. Right, rasp there, where do you think it might be? Right, so we've got a plasterboard rasp there. It's simply for tidying up the rough edge of a plasterboard. I'm going to rotate this round. I'm just going to get off the excess there, where I know that I've missed the line and created a little bit of a ripple. So that's that done. What we'll do now is, if by magic John has arrived, I'm going to fit these with plasterboard screws. Again, these are in the build pack. That's a 30, is it 32mm, David? Yeah. 32mm gyprock screw. These black phosphate ones, sometimes they let off little splinters, really tiny ones, and they go under your skin and can hurt. So again, get yourself some gloves on. Right, you can see there now, I've got my rip up and I can see my lines, so I know we're good there. So the added beauty of this is now is you don't have to cut your plasterboards to length, because of course we use 400 spacings on our roof, so our plasterboards won't go. Let me just show you how far you want to be sending in the screw. There, look. Right, you can see the line, look, wow. So I'm going to try and fix them where they are. What? There, it's just under, which is just what you want. And you want these spaced about, what I like to do on the ceiling is space them every 200. On the walls, we're going every 300. You can see now, I've got the perimeter there for that light. We're going to do the same along there as well. We'll continue that bit there. We'll do a 500 that way, and we'll have a 500 ring all the way around. And I'll show you how we're going to create our spacing then for our LED strip. Right, you can see we've created the perimeter now for the LED lights. Now, what I'm doing now, look, is, so this trim will sit up there like that. Can you see that there, Davey? And then that'll get screwed to that board, and then we'll have plasterboard in there, so you'll have that trim all the way around. So what we want to do is create a space for the trim to sit. So we've just got this bit of roof, look, which is wider than the LED recess itself, but not as wide as the track, so we can get plenty of screws in there. So what we'll do with them is we're just going to put them like that. So they're tight up to that plaster. Go to the side, David, might be a better option for you. They're tight up to the side there. And I know then when I offer my plasterboard up and butt it up to them, I'll still have a gap. For my LED track. So we're going to put full board up, which is 1.2 width. So what I'll do now is I'll hook my tape on there. What was that track? So I'll have a look at the track, look, yeah. So I'm going to make it 15 mil smaller than this opening, because the track's about 12. So when I'm sat on there, which is where I want my board to go, I've got 1340. So I want 1325. Just check that. Yeah, so my board is going to be 1325 wide, long rather. I'll offer it up at 1.2. It'll sit there, it'll sit onto them, and then when I screw it and take them off, I'll have a nice 15, 18 mil gap, whatever, round there for my track to sit in. Right, so I've cut it to my length. I've got my blocks there. What we're going to do, we're just going to butt it up to them and then slide it into them. And have you got it, John? Yeah. Have you got it with two hands? Because I have no screws, obviously. Hang on. You got it, yeah? Right, so you can see now that track that's created there. I'm going to just get a few screws in so I can take that weight off, John. But you want to stay away from where your light well is, because obviously you've got no OSB to fix it to there. And you don't want to be going through your screws. So you can see there as well where the lines are, where my roof timbers were. There, go on, you let it go now. So what will happen is then, when I take them off, let's have a look and we'll just show you. Once I take these blocks off now, and I'll just put them here because we are going to obviously do the same with this one. So you can see if I get a track now, the track will sit in there, yeah, and I'll be able to screw it, and I know I've got a good fixing wherever I put my screws, and then he'll skim that, and then that will be flush with the ceiling. And that's basically how you get your plasterboard in for your LED track. We'll show you the putting the track in now as well. Right, so your LED strip, I mean, cutting that is quite difficult to do. If you try and do it on the chop saw, just a plastic trim there, it's going to shatter on you and go all over the place. You can buy a pair of snips that cut at different angles for cutting plastic trim, which are ideal. Or you can cut it in the chop saw. You can see how slow I've gone through there, because if you've ever cut a tile trim, what you want to do is catch the bits and smash them up. So you cut the 2-in-1 now, you cut your 45 on that, and you cut your 45 on that. Now what I would do, because with all the best will in the world, your front won't be the same length as your back. So we've took the piece out and we've marked them up front, whichever side, and then back. What's going to happen over there, if David just shows you now, you'll see the little recess I've cut out of the LED strip there. That's so that I can get my light up and in. And what I've done that with there, I've just got myself a little metal cutting thin disc angle grinder. And I've just cut myself a metal section out of it like that, and then tidied it up with the file, because obviously I've got my LED strip going in there and I don't want any damage on it or all like that. So I've just tidied it up like that with the file. And then what will happen then is when we come to connect our LED strip, we'll connect it to that and we'll push it up into that roof void there so you can't see it. Now I'll just show you this, look. That mitre there wasn't the best in the world, but trust me, once that's plastered, it's not going to be too bad, whereas this one was a lot better. You can see that one there, look, that's near on perfection. It's not bad at all. Right, so this one, what we're going to do with this one now is... Where the hell's it gone, David? Right. I'm going to get one end, and what I've done, look, you can see I've not completely fixed that, which will give me a little bit of wiggle room on my mitre. So I don't know how well David's going to be able to film this. You want to go and hold that in there for me, David? And I'm just going to get this mitre good. Have you got it? Yep. Like I say, I'll get this mitre good, or as good as what I need it. And get myself a couple of screws in there. And then I'll come to, you can probably let go of it, can you? Then I'll come to this end here, right, and then what I'm going to do then is just manoeuvre the both of them until I've got a good mitre. You see like that one there, can you see them both moving different ways? Let me just get two hands on that. There, look, you can see them both, they've both got wiggle room on them. So what I'm going to do is just get them so they're nice. Like that. And then once I've got a screw in there, I know then that my mitres are going to be good, and we will show you them once we've got them plastered in. So the middle, obviously, I need to go back and address because I've got a few screws just to put in there. But you can see what's happening now. I've created my LED halo strip. And anybody that you see doing garden rooms, we were the first to put these in garden rooms. I don't care what anybody says. Been around a lot longer than others. I'll get that in there like that. So that's good. We've got that. And you can see what's happened there now. So I've got my OSB substructure beneath it, so I can literally screw anywhere I want and know that I'm going to get a good fix in, whereas you'd have to put partnesses in previously. This is less than 10 metres, so my LED will go boom, boom, boom round there, and my offcut of LED will pop up into there again. You won't see that. But like I said, if you've got bigger than 10 metres, or you can get a better LED strip than us, go that way and you can have two together. So that's your LED. What we'll do now, we'll ping the line 700 out from the back wall, 700 in, and we'll cut out for the recesses for the spotlights and make sure that we're happy that they're in before we're going to plaster. We've marked us, we've come in 700, we've pinged the line, obviously come in 700 this way. Now, before we do that, no, you're fine. Before we do that, we need to check. Like, we always use the same spotlights, always, because they were a good deal and they were good quality lights. Now, that's the wholesale for them. Now, what I've just thought about now is I've not checked the diameter of the hole that I need to cut for my spotlights, because that is is that 70 mil? 70 mil. So I'll just have to get a spotlight and just check. Yeah, so I mean, it'll often say either in instructions, this says on box, look. So we've got a cut out dimension of 70 mil. This hole will cut. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through really slowly, and then when I feel myself pull through that plasterboard, I'm going to pull back straight away. There we go. Right, so what we did we pushed the cables out of the way, didn't we, David? So I'm going to have a look for these now. I could never understand why people, when they do ceilings, do not get their lights in cut out before they get the plaster in, because you know you're right, and if you made a mess then you can just alter it, can't you? So that's good, look, yeah, push the cable out of the way. Now we covered the cable, there's the cable. And we'll do the same with the rest. I'll just show you a little trick as well. If you just put that on fast reverse and jab it a few times, the bit will pop out of here. So that's what we'll do. We're going to cut them. So you can see she's got two options now. She can have spotlights or she can turn them off, and she can have a halo light, whichever she prefers. And like I said, I've done this simply so that I can show you both types. Don't look up, John. So as discussed, I'll cut the end off there, and we're going to put a couple of Wagos on there. Just join it to that, and I'm just going to show you this now. There, so that's going to sit in there lovely. That magnetic bezel will sit on top of there, and you've got the clearance there, and you haven't compromised your insulation. Again, I mean, that's new to me. I didn't know you could get them that small, but you can. So that's what's going to happen there. Like I said, she'll have 4 spotlights, or she'll have an LED light. We haven't compromised that. Our cable is up here somewhere. Yeah, and that's the last one on our radial because it goes that way. So that's why there's only one cable there, and obviously that goes down to your light switch there. So that's your ceiling. That's your lights in for your ceiling. John started the wall now. You can see we've dropped the vapour barrier down the wall. What he's done now, look, he's marked the centre of the uprights so that when we put this board up, he's then popped a level down there, look, so he knows exactly where he's fixing. So when we pop this board up, we know where our uprights are. Like I say, he started off there, he's going that way. He's put these pattresses in as well because we're going to have a wall hung heater there. He's cut that piece out there because there'll be a fuse spur for it going there as well. Right, what John's done, he's left 20mm clearance on the bottom. Now, I'm going to explain that to you as soon as we put it, why we're leaving 20mm clearance on the bottom. But he's done that, I mean, that isn't a fault. He's done that on purpose, and I'll explain that in a minute. So what he's going to do now, he's going to offer that board up. There we go. Just swing it across the bottom, John. Generally what will happen is 4 screws will be enough to hold the weight of this board, and John then can let go, and it can then be screwed up at ease. So you can let go, John. So we've got, right, so you can see where he's put the lines, because obviously I don't know where the timbers are now. So what John would normally do now is, John, it's just fire a line straight down there. I mean, you can do it by eye. I've missed straight away. That's literally, oh, and you can see on bottom there, he's actually marked the bottoms as well, so that helps me out there as well. So you can do it by eye, or you can do it, because obviously it's pinged a line on there, look. Go up that line, and so on, and screw the board. Right, let's talk about plaster boards. Right, why has he left 20mm gap at the bottom of there? Right, so if that's our wall, yeah, John's plaster board has come tight to the ceiling. I'm going to exaggerate it, and he's left a 20mm gap. The reason for that being is when we come put our laminate down, don't forget, it's an outdoor garden room, yeah? Right, it's a timber frame. We're expecting expansion and movement. So let's draw that line through there like that. So that's your floor. So he's lifted it at 20mm. So when we come to put our floor, we will leave a 10mm clearance on the floor. So that will be 10mm clearance on that floor away from that line there. But we've also got another 12.5mm. So we've actually, in fact, got 22.5mm for that floor to expand. So that's why he's left the 20mm. And when the skirting board goes on there like that, it will drop down like that. It will cover that gap, and it will cover that gap, and your floor can move all day long, and it's not an issue. So that's why we're leaving 20mm on there. These are square-edged boards. Not to show you. On the side of the board, it'll have the dimensions of the board, and it'll also have SE, square edge, or it might have TE, which is tapered edge. Now, square edge board is exactly what it says on the board. Goes together like that, 2 square edges. Plaster will put a bit of tape on there and it'll skim over. That's a square edge. Tapered edge is like this. I'm going to exaggerate it for you so you can see it. That will be one board, that will be another board, and you'll have a groove in the board like that. Yeah, and what will happen then is Plaster will put his scrim tape on there like that, and you fill that joint, so you can easily fill that joint there, like that, and then you'll overfill it a couple of times, like that, and then you'll do away with your joint, and then you don't have to plaster your board. But it's a messy, it's a lot of arsing around. That there's going to cost you anywhere between, I'd say, what do you reckon, 400 quid, John, £700 for a big room? Yeah. To get skimmed, yeah? Or you can tape it yourself if you use tapered edge boards, and you'll be at it for hours, and it takes ages, and when you paint it, unless you've done a brilliant job, you still see it, don't you? Yeah. Because once them lights are coming on there, you can see any deflections in your walls and that. So personally, I would get a plasterer in. But if you want to do it yourself, taping edge might be the way for you. And like I said, so you want a tapered edge board or a square edge board for just skimming over. So that's your walls. We're going to finish on screwing that board up. Right, so that's your ceiling in, your lights in there all ready to go now. Tomorrow we're going to get doors and windows in. I'm going to show you how to fit French doors. I'm going to drop an old video in and show you how to fit bifold doors. We're going to fit the window as well. John and Debbie are going to carry on board in this room. And don't forget, so everything you see in here is in the build pack, all the instructions, all the materials list. And when I say all the materials list, let's see if I can show you this without showing you too much, because I'm trying to sell them. That there is the tool station list alone. See that, look? Yeah. See, that's what I'm talking about. Everything you need is there. That's the tool station list. You've got a timber pack list, you've got a roof and rubber list, you've got an insulation list, and you've got a base list as well. So head to my description for a build pack if you want one of them. And tomorrow we're going to do some glazing. So please like and subscribe, and we will see you tomorrow.